Hello and welcome to today's news update. The U.S. intelligence community has released a report stating that Russian President Vladimir Putin may use nuclear weapons to end the ongoing Ukraine war. The report also highlights the possibility of Putin dragging the U.S.-led West into the conflict in an effort to win back public support. This news comes in the wake of a recent missile attack by Russia on various Ukrainian cities, including the use of hypersonic missiles. This attack has resulted in casualties and damage to energy infrastructure facilities. Let's take a closer look at what's been happening. On March 8, Russia launched its largest aerial attack in weeks on Ukraine, hitting targets across the country with a complex barrage of weapons, including its newest hypersonic missiles, according to the New York Times. The attack was said to be retaliation for an incursion by a pro-Ukrainian armed group in the Bryansk region of Russia. The missile strikes reportedly killed at least 6 people, knocked out power in several areas, and damaged 3 electrical plants, according to Ukrainian officials. Another 4 civilians died in shelling in the country's south. The attack included 6 of Russia's new hypersonic missiles, known as Kinzhals or daggers, which is the most Russia has used in a single wave since the war began a year ago. The attack also involved 9 types of cruise and ballistic missiles alongside a volley of 8 Iranian-made exploding drones. Of the 81 missiles fired overnight and through the morning, 47 hit targets, Ukraine said. The higher success rate of the missile attack was attributed to Russian forces using some of their limited supply of hypersonic Kinzhal missiles and a higher than typical number of ballistic rather than cruise missiles, according to Yuri Anat, a spokesman for Ukraine's Air Force. The attack had devastating effects on civilians, with at least 5 people being killed in their homes when a rocket landed in a residential area in the western region of Lviv. In the Kharkiv region near the border with Russia, 15 missiles hit infrastructure and a residential building, resulting in casualties. 4 people were also killed in Russian shelling in the southern city of Kherson. The missile attack has raised concerns about the escalation of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the potential use of nuclear weapons, as noted in the U.S. intelligence community's report. The situation is developing, and we will continue to keep you updated on any further developments. The missile attack launched by Russia on Ukraine cities has caused extensive damage to Ukraine's infrastructure. The missile strikes reportedly hit energy infrastructure facilities, resulting in power outages in several regions of the country. According to Ukrainian officials, the attack damaged 3 electrical plants. Moreover, the missile strikes have also put the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant at risk. The plant was temporarily cut off from external power lines and had to switch to diesel generators, as the missile strikes disrupted the plant's power supply for the 6th time since the war began. Rafael Mariano Grossi, the head of the United Nations Nuclear Agency, expressed his concerns and issued an impassioned plea, warning of the potential danger of a nuclear accident if the attacks continue. The impact of the missile attack on Ukraine's infrastructure is significant, and the destruction caused by the attack is likely to have long-term effects on the country. The attack shows the severity of the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the potential dangers associated with the use of advanced weapons in the war. The situation in the region remains tense, and the world is watching with growing concern as the conflict escalates. The missile attack by Russia on Ukraine has raised global concern about the escalating conflict. The head of the United Nations Nuclear Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi, issued a statement expressing his concern about the attack on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant. The plant was temporarily cut off from external power lines and had to switch to diesel generators due to the missile strikes. This was the 6th time the plant had to move to its emergency power supply since the war began. Grossi stated that if this continues, it may lead to a nuclear accident, which could have catastrophic consequences. The use of hypersonic missiles by Russia has also increased the concern of the global community. These missiles are capable of traveling at incredible speeds, making them difficult to intercept, and can deliver a nuclear payload. The US and its allies have been developing their own hypersonic missiles to counter Russia and China's advancements in this technology. The attack on Ukraine's infrastructure has caused significant damage to power plants and other facilities, which could have severe consequences for the country's economy and its citizens. The United States and its allies have condemned the attack and have called for Russia to cease its aggression towards Ukraine. The situation in Ukraine remains volatile, and the global community continues to monitor the situation closely. The use of nuclear weapons by any country would have catastrophic consequences, and it is essential to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The recent missile attack by Russia on Ukraine has not occurred in a vacuum, but is part of larger geopolitical dynamics at play. The relationship between China, Russia, and the West has been shifting in recent years, with Russia and China growing closer and challenging the dominance of the United States and its Western allies. This has led to increased tensions and competition in various areas, including economic, military, and diplomatic spheres. Moreover, the situation in Ukraine has been a major point of contention between Russia and the West, with the annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014 and the ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine. The United States and its allies have been supporting Ukraine in this conflict, providing military aid and other forms of assistance. The recent missile attack by Russia on Ukraine has raised concerns about the potential escalation of the conflict and the broader risks to global security. The United Nations has warned of the risks of a nuclear accident, given the proximity of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant to the conflict zone. The attack has also triggered a strong reaction from the international community, with the United States and its allies condemning the attack and calling for Russia to de-escalate the situation. In conclusion, the recent missile attack by Russia on Ukraine is not just a localized conflict, but reflects larger geopolitical dynamics and tensions between Russia, China, and the West. The situation is complex and multifaceted, with significant risks and implications for global security. The potential motives behind Putin's recent escalation of the conflict in Ukraine are multifaceted. One major factor is Russia's belief that the United States is using Ukraine as a proxy to weaken Russia. This is a long-standing concern of the Kremlin, which has been wary of the expansion of NATO and the European Union eastward towards Russia's borders. In addition, Putin's recent actions may be motivated by a desire to assert Russian dominance in the region and project strength internationally. The timing of the attack, which occurred as Ukraine was celebrating its Independence Day, may also have been intended as a message to the Ukrainian government and people. Furthermore, some analysts have suggested that Putin's actions may be driven by domestic politics. The Russian economy has been struggling in recent years, and Putin may be looking to distract from these issues by focusing attention on foreign policy and national security. Whatever the motivations behind Putin's actions, it is clear that the situation in Ukraine is extremely complex and has significant implications for global security. In conclusion, the recent missile attack by Russia on Ukraine, including the use of hypersonic missiles, has sparked global concern about the situation. The attack has caused significant damage to Ukraine's infrastructure, and there are fears about the potential danger to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant. The UN has issued a statement about the risks of a nuclear accident, underscoring the severity of the situation. The larger geopolitical dynamics at play include the changing relationships between China, Russia, and the West, which have complicated the situation further. Putin's potential motives behind the escalation include the belief that the US is using Ukraine as a proxy to weaken Russia, adding another layer of complexity to the conflict. It is important for viewers to stay informed about the situation and to seek out reputable sources for news and analysis on the Russia-Ukraine war. This is a developing story, and new information is likely to emerge in the coming days and weeks. Let us hope for a peaceful resolution to this crisis.